What's up, everybody? This is Talk Wrestling on NoDQ.com and, of course, YouTube.com/NoDQCW. Thank you all for watching, as you do 3 times a week. You put up with me, and I love you for it. Thank you very much. All right, let's just get right into the questions. First one today comes from Memphis, Tennessee. This is B. Fraser7. Sorry about that. I have no idea how to say that. Hey, Jeff, with the talk of John Cena wanting to go heel, who do you think would be the top face on Raw? Also, I've heard that the WWE's long-term plan with The Miz was turning babyface. What is your thoughts? You know, I've been the one talking about John wanting to turn heel and, wanting to finally escape from the Super Cena gimmick, if you will. And, the first thing that we need to do is give John a break. Cena needs time off. He is worn down. You can see it in his face. You can see it when he comes to the ring, how beat up he is. You can see how beat up he is, how, not sluggish, because he's not like, drunk or fat or whatever, but he definitely needs a break. He definitely needs a little bit of a timeout. And they will give it to him because he's the merch guy. He's the main guy. But a heel turn would be refreshing. Aaron talked about this on No D Q&A, whatever number that was, I forget now. But him turning heel would be equal to Hogan turning heel. It would refresh the character, merchandise would still sell, I guarantee it, and they could put another face on Raw to face him, like, maybe turning Miz face. A lot of people like Miz anyway. And if Cena turned heel and turned his back on the C Nation, Miz would be right there to be like, you know what? He would probably go against Cena. But again, that's been done. Miz and Cena's been done over and over. There's really not a lot of strong faces on Raw. You've got Mysterio to a certain extent, but he's leaving, or whatever's going on with him. Punk is leaving, so they can't turn him babyface. I don't know who would be the top face on Raw should Cena turn heel. That's a very good point to bring up. I don't know. Alex Riley's not anywhere near in position to be a top face. There's just no way. So we'll see how it goes going into SummerSlam. Let's see, this is from Rhinos09 in St. Louis, Missouri. Who do you believe will be the last Attitude Era superstar to retire? Currently, Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, Goldust, Mark Henry, Triple H, Christian, Chavo Guerrero, and R-Truth are considered active, not including injuries, still with WWE. Of all those guys from the Attitude Era that you just rattled off there, Rhinos, I gotta believe the last one to retire is going to be either Christian or R-Truth. R-Truth is still a young enough man to go a few more years, as is Christian. I just don't see either of them retiring soon, especially with Christian's best friend just retiring recently. So, we'll see what happens with that. But Undertaker pretty much is retired. Kane's on his way out. Big Show might not sign. Goldust is hurt. Mark Henry, he's got to be leaving soon. It's ridiculous. Triple H is pretty much retired. Chavo's going to retire soon, I bet. So those guys are going to be the ones who leave sooner rather than later. It's going to be Christian or it's going to be R-Truth that retires last. This is from Caleb44 in Maryland. Why is JBL hated by many people in the internet wrestling community, and what caused him to be hated like he is? I also know he was hated before the Joey Styles incident in Iraq, so that can't be why. Also, why is he known as a backstage bully? The most recent one that I can think of regarding JBL is One Night Stand 05, when they had the WWE Crusaders against the ECW faithful, the originals, excuse me. JBL beat the holy high hell out of Blue Meanie, like legitimately beat him up in the ring. And as far as the backstage bully stuff goes, there was a time in the WWF and WWE when you came to the company, you pretty much got your balls broken by either Hardcore Holly or Bradshaw. One of those two would step up and kind of give you a lot of crap and make you wonder, is this right for me? And if you stood your ground and stood up for yourself, then you were left alone. That's what I've come to understand anyway. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I hear. It's all hearsay, of course. You talk about backstage stuff because none of us are backstage. None of us know what's going on. But from what I remember hearing about Bradshaw, he was one of those guys that would, give the new guys a lot of crap or give... the big one was WCW. When those guys came in, Bradshaw gave those guys a ton of shit. So, it was stuff like that. I was reading on ODQ. I don't know who this is from. There's no name on this, so I'm sorry. I was reading on ODQ.com that WWE is worried about Smackdown. I always think of Smackdown as the Rock show. I've noticed since Rock left, ratings have steadily gone down. Would completely rebranding Smackdown help the brand? I honestly think that Smackdown is and can be, not is, but can be the A show if marketed right. Problem is, you know, they're on Sci-Fi now. They don't have a whole lot of people seeing them like they used to on the network TV. And I don't know if SmackDown is going to recover from things like The Rock leaving, like Hogan leaving, like Triple H leaving, like Batista leaving, like Cena leaving. All their top stars have either gone to Raw or retired. And it's bad for them. You know, they've been doing this Christian Randy Orton thing for a while, and now they're on whatever feud they're on. I don't know what feud they're on now for the championship. It's ridiculous. I just don't even pay attention. But for them to have to stick to something like that for that long was ridiculous. And I don't see SmackDown recovering. What I would do personally is just to dissolve the brand extension. Just have everybody be on both shows. One champion, one mid-card champion, the tag champions, and the Divas champion, and just let it be. That's what I would do personally, like they used to be. Alright, coming up soon, mid-July as a matter of fact, until leading into SummerSlam, which is mid-August. XMV, as I mentioned the other day, is coming back. We will be back with new episodes, talking about SummerSlam's past, our memories, our thoughts, our views, and Mike Nangle will be right there next to me, giving his insights, crazy though it may be, and we'll see what happens with that. And I probably guarantee a lot of liquor is going to be involved with those shows, because that's how we roll. We'll see you next time on Talk Wrestling.